hello there. I'm out in the middle of the Capitol Reef National Park in Utah with my wife Kathy, and today we're walking around the Chimney Rock Loop, which is about a 3.5-mile hike, and enjoying many of the features that Capitol Reef has to offer. And there are a lot of beautiful sights here, as you can see from some of the pictures I'm showing you. Anyway, as we were walking around the trail, I was feeling a lot of peace within, and I started to think about where that peace was coming from. I know many people often think when they're having a very busy life, if they could only escape and get to the mountains or find a quiet lake somewhere or walk around in the woods, they would find peace of mind once again. I've done the same thing, and I was certainly feeling that peace of mind right up here, walking around in this beautiful desert wilderness. But I also began to wonder, now, where did that peace truly come from? Did it come from my material surroundings, from these beautiful views and rocks and formations and the plants that were around me? Or was it something within that I was discovering and finding because it was so quiet and peaceful around me physically? I thought back to a time when I was visiting New York City with my family. Our kids were younger, and we went to see The Lion King on Broadway, and when the show was done, we got out of the theater and walked back to the hotel, and we had to cross Times Square to get to our hotel. And this was a new experience for us. This was late at night, I think around 11 p.m., and we walked to the edge of Times Square, and all of a sudden, this massive humanity is there before me. I'd never seen anything like it, just thousands and thousands of people going in all different directions, and the senses were being assaulted. And as I looked up, there were these giant TV screens blaring ads, with bright screaming red colors and yellow and orange to grab your attention and read their message. There were noises all around. There were smells of food coming from all directions, so thick you could practically taste the food in your mouth. All 5 physical senses were just assaulting me, trying to grab my attention. And as that happened, and I was sort of caught by surprise by it all, I stopped myself in thought, and I said, now wait a minute. I am a child of God governed by spiritual sense, and the physical senses do not control my thinking and can't dictate how I'm going to feel or what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to practice a little exercise here. As we were standing at the edge of the sidewalk there, and I was gripping the hands of my kids so I didn't lose them in that big crowd, I did a little experiment. I decided I was going to shut out all 5 senses and just let my thought lift up to the presence of God. And so I shut my eyes and I closed down the physical senses, and I just let my thought go into the omnipresence of love, the omnipresence of God all around. And I just shut down all that noise and sight and smells and everything. Wasn't even aware of it for just a little period of time. Found that deep, deep peace of God right there in the middle of Times Square. And then I came back again and make sure my kids were still there and my wife was still with me as we made our way across that square. And I did this 2 or 3 times very successfully. Just shut it all down, shut it all out, find and feel the peace of God, and then come back to where my family was. And it was a valuable lesson to me that I could do it, that we can turn off those physical senses when they're yelling and screaming at us from all different directions and find the peace of God. So coming back to here at Capitol Reef, as we walk around and enjoy the peace and the serenity of the surroundings of this park, I am keenly aware that the peace I'm feeling within, really, it's not coming from anything material around me. It's something that's already within me, that it's always there. Because even up here, I've seen people, running around with their cell phones. Sometimes I do that myself, catching up with work back home, and they're in a big frenzy about something that happened, and they're not feeling the peace. So obviously it's not the rocks and the mountains and the hills and the plants that create the peace. It's a state of mind. Peace is not a state of matter, it's a state of mind. Not of the human mind, but of the divine mind. And this is what Jesus Christ understood when he said, enter into your closet and shut the door. He meant shut the door on the physical senses and listen for that still small voice of God within that brings healing messages of truth and love to you. Mary Baker Eddy, who discovered Christian Science, commented on that closet that Jesus talked about and said it's the sanctuary of spirit, where you go spiritually, through spiritual sense, find the presence of God and commune with life, truth, and love. To do that, though, we need to shut down those physical senses. But the neat thing is you can do it. It doesn't make any difference where you are right now. You don't have to be here in Capitol Reef to feel the same peace that I'm feeling. It's within you. As a child of God, you have spiritual sense that feels the peace of God all the time. And when you're tuned in and listening spiritually, you will feel that peace within. It's a part of who you are as a child of God. And so as I sit here and get ready to head back and end this trail, I know that the peace I'm feeling here is coming from God, not from my surroundings, and I'm going to take it with me. And I can find it anywhere I am. So can you. Right in the face of someone maybe yelling at you, maybe in the middle of a very busy, hectic work day, maybe in the middle of Times Square, maybe in the middle of a financial crisis. You don't have to get pulled into where the physical senses are taking you. You can shut it down. Just turn it off, just like a light switch on the wall, because you're not a physical creature. You're a spiritual being with spiritual sense who naturally and normally feels peaceful as a child of God. So never forget that. So that's my prayer for you, that you find that peace and live it and experience it fully every day of your life.